Hi everyone, I would like to give you a warm welcome to NextGen Web Podcast. The show is brought to you by Blazity. We are Next.js development experts. My name is Michał, I'm a software developer in Blazity, and I'm here with Filip.
Thank you, Michał. My name is Filip. I am a Next.js developer at Blazity, and I would like to welcome you to the first episode of our podcast.
Yeah, so our NextGen Web Podcast is going to mainly focus on topics around Next.js. We're also going to discuss hot topics such as Generative UI, Generative AI, overall usage of AI in front-end development world. So let's talk about our agenda for today, Filip.
Yeah, so today we would like to start by going through some overall examples of AI usage on front-end development. We're going to talk about generative AI and generative UI brought to you by Vercel, and about Vercel's tools, and that's mainly what we want to talk about.
Sure, great. So let's start with the podcast. At first, generative AI, it's such a hot topic, basically since release of the ChatGPT. So just so we are on the same page with our listeners and people that are watching us, I think it's worth just to maybe talk briefly about what actually generative AI is. So maybe Filip, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so we need to distinguish between different types of AI in this scenario, because at first we only had conversational AIs, which is just a plain text chat where you can type some input and you will get a text output, but this was very limited. So we can think about first versions of ChatGPT, for example. And then with introduction of function calling in AI models, we introduced generative AI models, which can return us not only text inputs, but also images or graphs and different types of media, and also check things in real life. So, for example, if we would like to right now check what the weather is like in Warsaw, we won't have a problem with that. AI model will do it for us.
Yeah, sure. That's like some kind of advanced take on what generative AI actually is. But like coming back to like basic definition, we could like define generative AI basically as an AI model which takes a prompt, which is a user input, which can be pretty much nowadays anything, starting from text, image, or even a PDF file. And the model is supposed to generate different type of content, starting off by simple text, also images. But also, like the new model, I guess you, Filip, also heard about the new model from OpenAI, such as Sora, which is actually generating great quality videos, which is actually a great leap in evolution of AI. So I would say overall, that's a great topic to talk about. And just considering at what pace generative AI is evolving right now, I think that's a thing that everybody should take on and try to incorporate some kind of Gen AI in their business. So that's basically like kind of the take of Gen AI. But as we are Next.js experts, I think we should also focus today about kind of incorporation of generative AI in more web development oriented world. So Filip, maybe you can tell us a bit more about what tools do we currently have from companies like Vercel?
Yeah, so once the AI began to evolve into something we have here, which is actually sometimes pretty scary for me, like with this new OpenAI video model, it's scary how realistic these videos can become.
That's true, yeah.
The same thing goes to photo editing and photo creation by AI. It gets better every day, so it's fascinating and it's scary at the same time. And for the front-end development in which we specialize, the AI also brought new tools and new level of advantage for developers which use it. So the Vercel introduced us to actually several tools and APIs that we can use right now. The first thing I would like to talk about is AI SDK, which is like the base platform for anything related to AI and Vercel. So the thing is that we can use it in our project just by implementing the SDK, downloading it via npm, and we can also use it as a playground in our web browser, which can just work like ChatGPT, for example. And in this AI SDK, we have several models, so we can compare them, we can compare how they are used and stuff like that. And the second thing we'll talk about is the V0, which is like an AI assistant for generating components using the most modern tech stack, which is like Next.js, ShadCN, Tailwind, and so on.
Yeah, sure. That's a great take on the newest tech from Vercel. And actually, the funny thing is that if you want to use the AI SDK from Vercel, all you have to do is simply npm install AI, which is like great for marketing, to be honest. I've heard that in San Francisco on the release of the AI SDK with having billboards with the npm install AI. They got pretty huge traffic, so I think that's a great take to just start off with the marketing of these tools. Great. So I think as AI SDK is a pretty broad topic, we can start off by discussing some of the tech that AI SDK enables developer to incorporate in the applications.
I think in this topic, by the way, about this Vercel billboard, I think it's funny as a developer to see how programming can become mainstream, because several years ago you would think about programmers as some people working in the basement on the code, and right now you see billboards in San Francisco and other big cities that are encouraging you to use Vercel, for example. And how we can use it, the first thing about the V0 we can use, for example, is the rapid development of our MVP project or something like that. For instance, we would like to fast build some kind of a SaaS product or anything like that, and we don't want to spend too much time thinking about the design and implementing the basic design, basic components. We can just go to the V0 by Vercel website and type in actually our idea, which can be any component, and from that we can start iterating through it, so we can customize different elements of this UI, choose from different options. So sky is the limit with this one. I heard some good things about this when it comes to real products, and I've seen that Vercel has big plans for V0 and expanding it to different styling systems and stuff like that, because for now you can only work with Tailwind, but in future I hope we'll be able to use also different styling tools.
Yeah, sure. That's a great tech. And actually, I think worth mentioning here, the name V0, after watching some Vercel conferences, I would say that's actually a pretty accurate name for what the tool is supposed to do. So basically, as what the guys say in Vercel, it's not supposed to bring you like the pixel perfect final version of your components, but rather, as you said, it's supposed to like rapidly speed up your development process to bring you like the first clickable prototypes, and just allow you to ship faster and be more efficient as a developer. Because pretty much all the time as a like software developer, front-end developer, we have like the problem of like boilerplate, same components over and over again. And even by creating components, there's some kind of like repetitive work you have to do like every single time. Even by creating a component, just placing all the stuff in place where they should be. And here comes V0, which actually streamlines the whole process. You just prompt what component you want to have. And as you said, we get the V0 version. And after that, we can iterate by prompts, just to get the end result we want. But it's worth mentioning that this tool is not supposed to like bring you the pixel perfect design from Figma. It's supposed to like speed up your prototyping process, kind of. Yeah, so coming back to V0, actually there is 2 ways to kind of refine your components to get your desired outcome. So one way to do that is actually by simply prompting. Somehow you do it in a ChatGPT way. So you get a first version of your component, and just by prompting, for example, I would like the heading to be bigger. I would like to have like better contrast on our buttons. That's one way to like enhance your component. But also the second way is more like some kind of Figma way, when you specifically click one of the elements in the component V0 generated. And you can specifically say to V0 what improvements you would like to have. And that's actually a great way to achieve the end goal, the success you want to have with the generated component.
That's really cool, because like with any AI model, the issue is that they are not perfect.
Yeah.
So hardly ever you can just get the result you want with one input. So it's really nice that you have the ability to iterate over each creation by V0, and you can modify it, you can enhance it, and you always have the code available to you. So anytime you want, you can just copy paste it into your project and modify it how you want. And because it's using the tools like Tailwind, like Next, like GenCN UI, for example, just recently, it's like the go-to tech stack for new modern applications in Next.js. So it's really easy to not rewrite it into your tech stack, but you have it in your tech stack and you can just edit it and modify it how you want.
Yeah, for sure. And it's cool you actually mentioned the copying to the application. So there's actually also 2 ways of incorporating the component into your code base. So one, as you mentioned, you can simply copy the component code and paste it directly into the code base. But also, Vercel gives you more kind of convenient way to get component to your code base. And actually, they expose a CLI, thanks to which you can simply npx add your component to the code base. And by passing the component ID, which is generated by generating the component, just by calling one CLI function, you already have a component in your code base, which is actually super convenient and can really speed up the prototyping process.
That's really cool. I love this approach from the GenCN and adding new components from GenCN, because it just saves you a tons of time to just import some kind of a component, and GenCN does that for you and puts it in some folder some directory that is already prepared. So doing the same thing with V0, this is, I think, a great developer experience.
Yeah, for sure. And like I would say a very important thing to mention here is actually tools like V0. At first glance, it may be kind of scary for developers. Like you hear pretty often the narrative that, oh, AI is coming for developers, it's gonna cut off the development jobs. But like my take on this is like it kind of gives you the prototype, and also you can simply tweak the Tailwind styles directly in your code base to achieve the end goal, so that the tools like V0 are not directly going to kind of replace the development jobs, but rather like help you to eliminate coding the boilerplate. And also I think we all as developers, we'd like to focus on more kind of interesting tasks, more complex problems. So the tool that gives us the possibility to just avoid the kind of boilerplate repetitive tasks is great, both for like our efficiency, but overall just developer experience making new apps.
Yeah, let's face it, the AI won't replace developers anytime
That's
soon.
That's our take.
Yeah, I think this is just another tool in the box.
Yeah, sure.
So it couldn't handle the complexity of a large-scale project, but it is a great tool that can help you speed up the process and take away some of the amount of work that you have to put into when doing some repetitive tasks, just like directory managing and things like that, boilerplate creating, like we mentioned, and that's great for that. And also, as we mentioned with the V0 case, it can really speed up the process of creating an MVP for a product.
Yeah, for sure. I think the V0 is a great tool. You guys should definitely check this out to try to prototype your apps. And I think smoothly we could actually move on to the next topic, which would be the AI SDK, which is also a broad technology brought to you by Vercel. So actually we have different parts of the AI SDK, and maybe just, by giving the first glance of what AI SDK really is and what is made for. So what's your thoughts on that?
The thing I'm really happy about in AI SDK, and I think I could say about this, is the streamlining AI responses to React components. This is something that's pretty, I think, groundbreaking for me, because we are swiftly going to the point in web state that we can create very personalized experiences for users. So in your React component, you can ask something and the AI will give you the return outputs in real time. So you don't have to do this manually, and you don't have to change anything in the layout. AI handles every aspect of it. So this is something that I think currently is the best feature for me when it comes to AI SDK, but I think there are more. So maybe you can share some more details about this.
For sure. So the funny thing is, actually yesterday I was kind of playing with the AI SDK, and the first thing that I did was trying to kind of recreate the ChatGPT, and I used actually two tools. So the interface, I tried to do it with V0, which was super fast. I think I made the whole UI within 10 minutes. And also, thanks to the parts of the AI SDK, you can kind of forget about the hassle of integrating with all the AI models. It's also worth mentioning that all of the LLM models providers have kind of their own way to integrate with your apps. And what AI SDK does, it creates a layer for the developers, thanks to which you can plug into any AI model actually you have, and just focus on providing the real features and not trying to manage all the integrations with the AI models.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the first thing worth mentioning here also would be the next hot topic, which is the generative, not AI, but generative UI. So Philip, maybe you can talk us briefly what the generative UI is.
Yeah, so that's actually pretty much what I introduced in the earlier topic, but with the generative UI, we want to use AI to create the best front end possible to the user. So, and the scenarios for this one are pretty much unlimited, because every branch of web applications could benefit from that. For example, if we have, I don't know, some web application that sells flights, for example, flight tickets, and we have a user that specified that he's, for example, living in Warsaw, that he prefers to probably have some specific seat on a plane, or has some special needs regarding the website accessibility, for example, bigger font or higher contrast ratio, and the AI could identify these preferences when you are going to the page and adjust the layout just for you. So, for example, 5 users can have 5 different layouts on their website, and every website is tailored specifically for them. So this is really cool, and I think it would be really expanding the user experience for any web page. So yeah, Vercel is breaking the ice for such direction. and I think it's really cool. I think this is the bright future of web development.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing you mentioned also with specifically creating UIs for the users is actually very groundbreaking, and actually it changes the narrative of kind of interacting with application as we know for today. Because today we click buttons, we do some actions in predefined UI, and what generative UI does is actually, as you said, it provides like specific tailored made UIs for the end users. And also I've seen some cool examples actually on Twitter X, you call it as you name it, actually of incorporating the generative UI in kind of the e-commerce checkout flow. So the way they did it is by having the cart on the right side and also having AI chat interactive fully on the left side. And what generative UI and component streaming in AI SDK in Next.js provides you is simply prompting. For example, I'm looking for new shoes, and instead of getting like plain text response from GPT, for example, you can set up the generative UI so that you get a fully interactive custom React component where user can specifically, for example, click on it, and thanks to the actions and functions in AI models, we can actually perform the outcome and integrate with the APIs. So I would say it's a completely new way for the users in interactions with applications. And kind of my take on that is with the pace with AI evolving so fast, we're going to see much more experiences like that. So more AI incorporation in interfaces, and also being more user-centric and just focusing on providing the specific user a specific needs. So yeah, that's very interesting, and I think that's the kind of the new way of developing the web applications.
The one thing I'm thinking about right now is it won't only increase and make user experience better, but also it can make developer experience better. I remember one of my first projects in React was a weather app.
Yeah.
When you could specify some kind of location and you would get a widget with the current temperature and weather and some similar information, and I had to find the right API and check if it's free or should I use some pricing and add API keys, so on, so on. And with the AI SDK and tools like that, we could just specify the, for example, OpenAI API key, and the AI model would do the heavy lifting for us. So it would check the actual weather in the place specified by user and just give us the output, which will be so much easier for us to handle and to serve to the end user than some API response that we should parse and modify.
Yeah, for sure. And I will also add here, just to kind of visualize how generative UI can actually work. For example, if you guys try to like search for weather in Google, search for, I don't know, maybe NBA scores for the current games, oftentimes you don't always like get just simply the websites with the answer. You don't only get the plain text, but you also get kind of interactive components, like for the weather, for Google Translate. That's kind of a visualization how generative UI can actually enhance the user experience. Because like just trying to imagine Googling the weather for Warsaw today, just having to go through like some kind of plain text response, when you can have a fully interactive React component wherein you can like click on check the weather for the next days. I think that's kind of the next step for providing the best possible user experience, and that's a great thing that tools in Vercel allow you to kind of create those type of user experiences by just such a little effort, actually, thanks to the SDKs they're providing. I think that's a great thing. And also, just by simply reading the documentation, you can create like awesome user experiences within like hours, to be honest.
Yeah, the one thing I love about Vercel and their approach to shipping new stuff is the documentation, and the whole process of getting into new technology is so easy. Just the documentation for Next.js, for AI SDK, for any product that they ship, it's so easy to get into this and work around and have some play with, for example, this AI SDK or Vercel, for example.
Also, just one-click deployment, which is like just a beautiful thing for us, specifically front-end developers, but also like in the current era of Next.js, I would say that next kind of way in more full stack development, just enabling within the app router also the API routes, and you can just basically create the full stack apps within Next.js, but just kind of making fully AI custom app and just deploying it with one click on Vercel is super convenient, and I think it kind of lowers the learning curve for developers and just allows us to create great experiences much faster.
Yeah, that's true. I really like that approach, and I think this will be a huge factor and an advantage for Vercel as a global leader for innovations, for AI innovations in front-end development.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great take. And I think we could also kind of discuss the way we see how the future web development is going to look like. And for example, moving from the traditional web apps, what do you think we're gonna implement in kind of maybe 5-10 years, how the applications are going to work in the web?
To be honest, it's really hard to predict how fast the development for AI will be, because it's getting exponentially faster every day because of the amount of data that AI models can produce and can train on. I believe that this future will be bright, as I mentioned earlier. So I believe we are going into direction of interactive apps that are tailored to the specific user, because for now we have like a design, for example in Figma, and this is design for all. Maybe you have some small interactivity with that, for example with font size or for aspect ratio, light mode, dark mode, and stuff like that. But I believe in future every website will have some kind of AI assistant that will gather information about user and serve him the data that he predicts he would like to see. For example, it could replace many of social media algorithms, for example, when it comes to ads, when it comes to proposing us new friends on Facebook, and as I mentioned, the flights earlier, the e-commerce will change for that, and I think it will change for the better. And there is also I know there is a concern about how the AI can one day became self-conscious and replace programmers and stuff like that. I think this won't happen, because even if the AI will be as advanced that it will be able to create very big, scalable, performant and complex application, it would also need someone to maintain it. Because what happens if the AI code breaks? It would need a human to still fix it and to still maintain it. So I think we shouldn't be worried about that. I think this is a great tool in our hands, and I'm pretty happy about the rise of AI in front-end development. I'm using it almost every day for simple repetitive tasks, for creating some content, for creating a basic structure for my unit test, for example, or for creating some quick mockups for web applications with V0, So it can take big loads of work that I would do in earlier years, and right now I can automate that with AI and focus on things that are really important, which is, for example, with commercial clients, we need to focus more on the business logic and how we will help the client, and we don't need to worry about repetitive tasks because AI can do this for us.
That's a great take, and I think that's very important to also mention that kind of the direction where Vercel is going in the all AI hype. I guess you've heard about the Devin AI.
Yeah.
So like the model which is supposed to cut off like engineers completely and like, you know, streamline the whole development process. I think that's kind of not the way of you know, going with the AI evolution. I like the Vercel approach much more, where we get the tools to, you know, create things much faster. Also, we have to have some kind of technical knowledge. Also, you know, with tools like we use and love, I guess both of us, like, you know, ChatGPT for creating like some boilerplate code. Also, I'm a big fan of GitHub Copilot. I think it speeds up the kind of repetitive tasks and boilerplate code, which helps in efficiency very much. I think actually, you know, moving to the Vercel tools, they actually show you that they don't want to cut off the developers. They want to give you the tools to be more efficient. And also, I'll mention that with every kind of evolution in the web development world, we as developers, we're actually able to ship products faster, and also just create overall better products for the users. We can create just better web experiences, and also, you know, the whole generative UI. I think we can also kind of predict that the traditional interfaces are going to, you know, kind of cooperate with the more generative UI interfaces, and you know, just like custom shopping experience where you just like simply type what you want, and you get the React components back to you based on the prompt you've given to the model. I think that's a great way to actually enhance the experience. You know, just as we mentioned with the kind of the Google approach, you know, with giving back the components as answer. I think that's a great way, you know, just to enhance the kind of interaction with the web applications as we know for today.
The one thing I believe it might be cool was to create something like our box of data that we could have stored on our local machines or in our browser, and we could give an accept for the specific website for its AI to use this data and automatically set up the website for us. So for example,
that would be great.
For example, with e-commerce sites, you could just give the information about your location, about your preferences, and it would automatically prepare the layout for you. I know that some people might freak out about this because of all the privacy of data stuff, but I think the consent for that would be nice, just as we do with cookies, for example, nowadays. And I believe that this would enhance the user experience and speed up the process, for example, for e-commerce branches. And one thing, as you mentioned, the Vercel and their approach to using the AI and shipping AI products, I think the great thing is that they give us tool, and that they are combining two things. So the AI as a tool, as a user experience booster, and they also care very much about web performance, which in result can lead to something that we have a web application that is really fast. It has the great SEO metrics and is very user oriented. So it's easy to use for people. So if this is what AI will become, I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, that's true. And also just, you know, usage of the new hot kind of React, for example, server components, it kind of allows you to create such better performant applications. And also with stuff like generative UI, as you mentioned, like you can pretty much streamline the generative UI from the server actions, for example, in the new Next.js app router, which is one great for develop experience. And as you said, Vercel cares very much about the performance of the applications. And I think that's a kind of vital thing right now to not only provide, the hot AI features, but also keep in mind that all of these things should be super performant and, just allow to get for the end users the best possible outcome.
It's called Web Core Vitals for a reason, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, for sure.
But they do this, I think, in a very good way. And I think they will still be a leader in this innovation. And as you mentioned, some of the React stuff, it's nice to see that Vercel team is heavily involved in upgrading React and working on React code base. And with the introduction of React 19, which will improve the performance more and the developer experience more, I think we are coming to the very nice point in the web development history when it will be so much easier to create high performant applications.
Yeah, some people kind of actually laugh at the new kind of wave of web development, that we are kind of making a circle back to PHP, where we actually created all the website just by streaming the responses from the server. But I would say, just the kind of Vercel way and kind of the Next.js way is like much more kind of complex and allows you to have full control over the performance of your website. And also just by, leveraging the best aspects of, like front-end React development, but also having the advantages of server streaming, especially with heavy stuff like generative UI. Yeah. I guess we discuss a pretty broad range of topics today. First, we kind of talked about the generative AI overall. We've also mentioned the V0 tool from Vercel, also the AI SDK, and kind of the predictions where the generative AI and UI in front-end development could go in the next years. I think that's the kind of way we're gonna finish up today's episode. I would like to thank you for watching. Encourage you to also comment, give us your thoughts about the podcast. It's our first episode, so any kind of feedback is much appreciated. So guys, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
See you in the next one.
See you guys.